2 weeks into 2024, and we do, of course, have a new mayor, John Whitmire, and some new city council members in the city of Houston. While there is a change over in personnel, there's not a change in pop-off politics, and this is our weekly segment to help all of you know what's going on in our fourth largest city and how the city's politicians are planning to use your money. KPRC2 Investigates Mario Diaz is joining me now. Good morning, Mario.
Good morning. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Good. Happy New Year. So this is the first real agenda from the new leadership. Can items from the Turner administration be carried over into this administration?
They can, but I will tell you this is very rare, and that's a little bit of an oxymoron there, very rare, right? It's just rare, and here's why. This is why it's rare, because you usually don't have a change in mayor. You also don't have a change in city council members, which only happens 4 or 8 years apart. So, for example, this week, Glenn, who's our floor director, Glenn, who's stepping away, well, I was going to say, Marcus, come in here. Marcus is here. Marcus, oh, here comes Glenn. I'm going to show you what this means. Well, Marcus, you're going to stay right there. Glenn, come over here.
Thanks for the demo.
Glenn is part of the old city council. He's been an old member, right? So you've been part, you know all about this agenda item we're going to talk about. You see, he knows all about it. But he's out. He's termed out, so you're no longer part of this. In comes Marcus. He's a new council member. Do you know about this agenda item?
I do not.
You see, that's what makes this, thanks Marcus.
Yeah, no worries.
That's what makes this unique, is that you have council members who were part of the previous administration who are now gone that help present this agenda item that we're going to be talking about.
Okay, so let's get right down to it. What is the agenda item?
Right.
Break it down for us.
It is number 35 this week. I'm going to read this carefully. Once again, the focus here is a new convention center building and hotel on the north side of downtown. I have to explain it again because we've done this so many times, this one.
Yeah.
It's a 16-acre parcel, and the recommendation is that it's coming straight from the old mayor's office, okay? The old mayor. But they're still introducing it during this mayor because the item focuses on a new condominium hotel unit tied to the old Barbara Jordan post office, which has been converted into a food hall called the POST Houston. Okay, you've seen it. Everyone knows about it for the most part. But there's another key component to this plan. It calls for between 90 to 200 rooms in one unit with a 21,000-foot convention center hotel inside the hotel, which everyone's asking, well, why do we need another convention center downtown? Because you had the George R. Brown, which this raised a lot of people's red flags when it first came out.
Yeah, so how is this one going to be different then?
You have the newest council members that are going to be voting with a new mayor, and Mayor John Whitmire at the table.
And you know, like you said, you had to explain this again because you have been mentioning this before. They've been talking about this convention center hotel since November. Why? Why are we bringing this up again?
Okay, because when we first exposed this back in November, they pulled it from the agenda item, okay? And there were some things that the Turner administration did and proposed that, according to some council members, made sense. So they brought that back in. It got tagged a couple times, but you had some council members that say, this doesn't make sense. And now you have, again, the new council members around the horseshoe. But there are rumblings from inside City Hall also that this was an item that was pushed in the 11th hour. Remember, they talked about it in November. We asked questions. It got pulled. Then it finally goes to City Council in December. It gets tagged a couple of times, and we find itself right now being evaluated in this new City Council. And this was pushed by an individual whose footing within the new administration, the Whitmire administration, right now in the eyes of some is really not the strongest of grounds right now. They don't really know exactly how. Oh, we're having a change in microphone administration.
Yeah, we might have had some technical issues.
We're out with the old mic, we're back with a new mic. But here's the situation, thanks. So
we could hear most of what you were saying. I'll give you a second to put that back on.
So this happens, it's live television. So what the deal is that, you know, this was pushed in the 11th hour. And a lot of people are saying that if you're pushing this in the 11th hour, why? And the person that's really been pushing this is the Chief Economic Development Officer for the city of Houston. He's a gentleman named Andy Icken. And again, not too many people know how solid his ground is with the new administration because it's a new mayor and he wants to put in his people. That's normal. And also we did an investigation right before the holidays involving Mr. Icken and the airport and Mayor Whitmire kind of weighed in, well, those kind of people, they're not going to be allowed in my administration. So there's some questions here.
So now what do you think is going to happen?
I think that this is going to go before new council members and say, we don't know, like Marcus, who you saw earlier. They say, I don't know anything about this.
I'm brand new here.
I am brand new here, right? And you're going to have an administration that's new and say, you know what? We're now in charge. We want to take this under review and see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what takes place tomorrow.
Okay, so you think that's the big agenda item today?
Right.
Is there anything else that's on the agenda that people should keep their eye open for?
There's one more. And this one involves the Houston airport system, okay? We've been talking about that for quite some time, and we're gonna get right to it. It's agenda item number 6, and this involves the purchase of 28 Chevrolet Tahoes at a total price of $1.5 million and a little bit of change, okay? 28 Tahoes at the Houston airport system. Now,
Wow.
I've reached out to the airport system for clarification on why do you need these Tahoes? Who are they for? Who's going to end up with them, right? So the airport told me yesterday that that the Chevy Tahoe model supports the needs of the Houston Airport's HPD maintenance operations and ground transportation groups that handle security, inspections, K-9 support, and diplomatic experts. So what's interesting about this is that when I asked them more specifics, they really didn't get to it. But I asked somebody within City Hall, and I said, well, you know, K-9 and security, isn't that part of what HPD does out there in TSA? What are these specific Tahoes for?
Yeah.
And that person said, you know, we need to ask more questions about that. So it'll be intriguing to see what happens with that agenda item as well. There are several Tahoes being purchased by HPD. That makes sense, because you see law enforcement use it, especially SWAT officers.
Yeah.
SWAT officers will have the big Tahoes,
Sure.
and I've been on enough scenes to know they're carrying and lugging so much equipment that I suspect that's what you're going to see there. Some probably go to the senior brass, the police chief, maybe it could be a replacement.
But still, HPD spending would be different from airport spending, right?
It comes from the General Enterprise Fund. Great question. It comes from the General Enterprise Fund, which is tied to the airport, and that's funded through every time you take off, you pay into the airport system, about $4.50. So if you have millions and millions of passengers every year, you're talking about a huge revenue, right?
Sure.
And the airlines pay in too. But the question is, why this amount of Tahoes? And it's not like the Tahoes that are at the airport are getting extreme wear and tear, right? Because they're only driving around the airport compound. You're not like off-roading like a police officer if you have to do a chase. The Tahoes there could probably go for about 150 to 200,000. So how many miles are the old Tahoes? Why are you getting these new Tahoes? And why does it have to be a Tahoe?
We don't know when the last time they purchased a new fleet was.
No, they just said this is the recommendations under the fleet management services in the city. The Chevy Tahoe model supports the needs for Houston Airport's HPD, maintenance, operations, and transportation groups that handle security inspections, K-9 support, and diplomatic escorts. So we'll see what happens. I think there are going to be some questions. And we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, we'll see what the new administration asks. All right, Mario Diaz with the KPRC2 Investigates team, thank you so much. And while we do look at the City of Houston's agenda every week for you, if there is an item that you want Mario to focus on, you can email him, tell the people how they can reach you.
At mdiaz@kprc.com, or you can email us at investigates@kprc.com. And I do want to say that Councilmember Glenn did an incredible job over the last 8 years. We do anticipate Councilmember Marcus to step in at times during these segments, and we will be holding him accountable.
You guys are welcome
like
back
we
for
did
demos.
Councilmember Glenn.
All right, thank you, Mario.